Hello students, let me now explain question number 5. Compare and contrast the characters of Mrs. Fitzgerald and Mrs. Pearson. Who do you admire and why? Now in these two characters, who is your best character? Whom do you admire and what is the reason for that admiration? Mrs. Fitzgerald and Mrs. Pearson make an interesting study in contrast. Mrs. Fitzgerald, a symbol of feminism, I told you all, strong, very aggressive, liberated, and domineering. She lives her life on her own terms. She is never dictated by others. She never listens to others also. She smokes, plays cards, and drinks stout or wine, you can say. She can challenge anybody. She even jumps up to slap George. In one scene, we find in your drama, she even jumps up to slap George Pearson. She runs down Doris's fiance. That means she goes on saying many ill things about Charles Spence, Doris's fiance, whom Doris was dating for quite some time. She takes Cyril to task for wasting time and money on dog races and ice shows. She even went on critically rebuking Cyril, for spending time more on dog races and ice shows, spending money also along with time. Mrs. Pearson, on the other hand, is weak minded and docile. Mrs. Pearson, totally opposite. I already told you North Pole and South Pole, like that. Huge difference in their character. Mrs. Pearson, she is docile, and most importantly, apart from being docile, she is very meek and very mild. She is very weak minded also. She does not dare to displease any member of her family. She was not at all interested to actually displease any member of her family. Mrs. Fitzgerald has a domineering personality, while Mrs. Pearson has pleasing looks and nature. Now, Mrs. Fitzgerald, her personality is very dominating or domineering, whereas Mrs. Pearson, her looks was, you can say, very much pleasing and very much homely also. And one more important thing, Mrs. Annie Pearson was a little nervous also. We certainly need more women like Mrs. Fitzgerald who can stand up for their rights. But actually, the real character is that of Mrs. Fitzgerald, who actually stand up, raise their voice for their rights, for the right cause. Now, dear students, I am moving on to question number 6. How do you look at Mrs. Pearson's genuine problems and Mrs. Fitzgerald's suggestions? Is it practicable, imaginative, and realistic? Is the suggestions given by Mrs. Fitzgerald to Mrs. Pearson, is the suggestions imaginative or practicable, or do you think it is realistic? It's a very argumentative question, analytical one. So let me explain the answer to you all. The resentment of Mrs. Pearson is genuine and realistic. Hers is a miserable life. She is always taken for granted. So definitely hers is a miserable life. That is the experience of most of the women. She is sensitive and servile. She is very sensitive. She is very servile. That is why she is neglected by her family members. That is the reason she is neglected by her family members. The solution suggested by Mrs. Fitzgerald is quite effective, but it is not practical as everyone does not have magic skills. But I told you that this drama was based on magic realism, and magic in reality is something that is unheard, and everyone doesn't have magic skills. Then what can be done? Mrs. Fitzgerald commands a drastic action. Any woman who is in Mrs. Pearson's place would have to deal with the situation in a very tactful manner. Tactful means in a very cleverly manner. The matter would have to be resolved by discussing things with each other rather than the dramatic way shown by Mrs. Fitzgerald. Obviously, Mrs. Fitzgerald used magic, or I already told you there was supernatural magical intervention, but magic is not possible in reality. So, in a tactful manner, with the way of conversations, with the way of round table discussions, by talking with the family members, no matter how disinterested they are, but still making them talk, listen to your opinions, ultimately the matter can be resolved by discussion, by an open discussion. Not possible to resolve a situation with the help of magic, as we can see here. Now, dear students, I am moving on to the final final question also. We talk of women's liberation movement, but it is a grim and sad reality that our women, except some, are slaves of the wheel as they were in the past. What place do women have in Indian society? Discuss. What is the position of Indian women in the society? Please discuss. So again, an analytical question. So let's come to the answer part. India has been and is still a male dominated society. India is still considered a patriarchal society, or rather to say a male dominated society. Boys are indefinitely preferred to girls. In reality, the man still governs unquestioned. It will not be wrong to say that employed women in general work at home like drudges. Now it seems that employed women work at home and they are ill treated every now and then. They never get their due recognition. Here also in this drama, that social message has been highlighted. In our society, a wife depends upon her husband. A daughter remains under her parents. A mother depends on her husband and son. The condition of a widow is worse. A woman finds it difficult to move freely. All social taboos are meant for her. All sort of social restrictions, all sorts of social taboos are meant for her. And the case of widow is far more worse in our Indian society. Some women today are free to choose their career, but the majority of them are still oppressed. Few women are there who are free to choose their career, but the majority are oppressed. They are subjugated or they are suppressed. Their voices are choked. Strangely enough, women in ancient India enjoyed honor and respect and were true better halves of men. In ancient times, the women were learned and they truly got their recognition and they were truly the better halves of men. But now the situation is something else. It seems that we are moving towards more darker zones. Searching for light, it's something a big question mark if we don't rectify ourselves. They enjoyed equal rights to men. They were at liberty to get an education and choose their life partners. That is the women during the ancient times. But situation changed drastically over the years and over the time periods. Nowadays, due to education, the condition of women is improving. Education is provided, so their conditions are improving slowly and slowly. All important services are thrown open to them. They can have or they can access to any services because all services are now open to them. We see women occupying high post. Even nowadays also we see women, they are occupying high post in government services. They have excelled men in many fields, and it seems the most vital part is that In many of the departmental fields, they have done far more better than their male counterpart. They have excelled their male counterparts. In the social, economic, and political sphere also, they have earned name and fame. In the social sphere, in the political and economic sphere also, they have earned their name and fame. Due to education, views and old thinking of the Indian society is changing. Education is light, education is knowledge, and knowledge is power. So slowly and slowly the stereotypical mode of the Indian society is changing. Today women have earned a place for themselves in every field. Today women, they have earned a place for themselves in every field, and the future of Indian women is brighter still. And let us be very hopeful, let us be very optimistic. We can sum up by saying that yes, indeed, the future of women is brighter still. Let us hope for the very best. So that is it, dear students. I try to explain all the 7 questions part by part with the help of audio presentation. Listen to this audio presentation also, and if there is any sort of clarification needed, kindly let me know. Thank you, students. Thank you all.